The ocean is not empty. It is silent. It is deep, and it remembers everything. More than 80% of the ocean has never been explored. No light reaches those depths. No sound carries far. No human has ever seen what truly lives there. And for most of human history, sailors believed something moved beneath their ships. Something too large to surface, something too powerful to fight. They described shadows that followed them for miles, water that suddenly grew still, a presence that made the sea feel alive. They called it a monster. They called it a myth, until science found its teeth. This is the true story of Megalodon. Millions of years before humans ever walked the earth, the oceans belonged to something else. Not whales, not giant squid, not sharks as we know them today. They belonged to a predator so large that modern animals seem fragile by comparison. Megalodon lived between 23 and 3.6 million years ago, during the Miocene and early Pliocene epochs. This was a time when the oceans were warmer, richer, and filled with enormous life. This was not an age of balance. It was an age of hunters. Megalodon was not simply a big shark. It was a biological weapon shaped by evolution for one purpose: dominance. Estimates suggest it reached lengths of 15 to 18 meters. Some reconstructions suggest even more. Its weight may have exceeded 60 tons. To understand that scale, imagine a great white shark. Now imagine it reduced to something insignificant. To Megalodon, a great white would not be a rival. It would be prey. Its body was built for power, not speed. Massive muscles, a reinforced skeleton, a tail capable of pushing unimaginable weight through water with frightening efficiency. But what made Megalodon truly unstoppable was its mouth. For centuries, people discovered strange triangular stones embedded in rock, sharp, perfectly shaped, often found far inland. They were called tongue stones. Some believed they fell from the sky. Others thought they were petrified dragon tongues. They were Megalodon's teeth. Each tooth could grow longer than a human hand, thick at the base, serrated like a saw blade, designed not just to cut, but to crush. Scientists estimate Megalodon's bite force exceeded 180,000 newtons, strong enough to shatter whale skulls, strong enough to break ribs like glass, strong enough to end a hunt in seconds. But Megalodon did not chase its prey across the ocean. It ambushed. It hunted from below, using darkness as its greatest weapon. When it attacked, it did not aim for the throat. It aimed for the fins and the chest, disabling its prey instantly. One strike was enough. Fossilized whale bones still exist today, marked with bite patterns that match Megalodon teeth perfectly. Some whales survived these attacks. Their bones healed. Others did not. Entire species of ancient whales evolved thicker skeletons, stronger ribs, and denser bones. Not by chance, but by necessity. The ocean adapted because it had to. Megalodon had no natural enemies. It did not compete. It dominated. It ruled every major ocean on Earth, from shallow coastal waters to deep continental shelves, to open seas where nothing could hide. Young Megalodons grew in warm, shallow nurseries, protected and fed. Adults descended into deeper waters where the largest prey lived. Nowhere was safe. And then, the world began to change. Global temperatures dropped. Ocean currents shifted. Warm waters slowly disappeared. Whales adapted. They migrated to colder regions, far beyond Megalodon's preferred hunting grounds. New predators emerged, early orca-like hunters, smaller but intelligent, coordinated, capable of hunting in groups. Megalodon was built for warm oceans, and the planet no longer provided them. Around 3.6 million years ago, Megalodon vanished. No skeletons were found, no preserved remains, only teeth, scattered across the ocean floor like fragments of a forgotten empire. Officially, Megalodon is extinct, but the ocean is vast, and we have been wrong before. The coelacanth was declared extinct for 66 million years, until it was found alive in 1938. Giant squids were once considered myths until cameras captured them in the deep. Even today, deep-sea sonar occasionally detects objects larger than any known marine animal. Eyewitness accounts describe massive shadows, unidentified fins, and whales with unexplained injuries. Science explains these as misidentifications, errors, imagination. But one question remains. Would we even know if something that large still lived far below our reach? Megalodon terrifies us not because it was evil, but because it was perfect. Perfectly adapted, perfectly efficient, perfectly unstoppable. It reminds us that humans are not the apex everywhere, that the ocean does not belong to us. Even now, its teeth rise from the sea floor, washed ashore like messages from another world. A reminder that before humans, before cities, before history, the ocean answered to something else, something larger, something stronger. And somewhere below the surface, in the pressure, in the darkness, the ocean keeps its secrets. But there is another reason Megalodon still refuses to disappear from human imagination. It is not just the size, not just the teeth, not even the power. It is the silence. Megalodon vanished without leaving a body behind. No skeletons resting in museums, no complete remains to study. Only teeth, thousands of them, scattered across the ocean floor like warnings. And that absence creates a question science cannot fully erase. When large land animals go extinct, we find their bones, we map their remains, we trace their final moments. But the ocean does not preserve history the same way. It erases it. Pressure crushes, salt dissolves. Scavengers remove evidence. Entire bodies can vanish without a trace, especially in the deep. And Megalodon was not a coastal animal. It was not tied to shorelines. It ruled open water, continental shelves, and depths far beyond where sunlight reaches. Places humans rarely visit. Places we barely understand. Even today, the deepest parts of the ocean remain unexplored. We have mapped the surface of Mars more clearly than we have mapped the ocean floor of our own planet. There are trenches so deep that no light has ever touched them. Valleys where pressure would instantly destroy any unprotected human body. Regions where sound behaves strangely and sonar reflections return distorted, incomplete, or misleading. In those places, size becomes difficult to measure, distance becomes unreliable, and shadows become deceptive. This is where Megalodon lives on, not as a creature, but as a possibility. Throughout modern history, sailors, submariners, and researchers have reported encounters with objects far larger than known marine animals. Enormous shapes detected briefly on sonar, massive silhouettes passing beneath vessels before disappearing into darkness. In almost every case, these encounters are explained away. Equipment malfunction, schools of fish, whales swimming close together. And most of the time, those explanations are likely correct. But the ocean has taught us humility before. For decades, giant squid were dismissed as myths born from fear and imagination, until one was filmed alive. For millions of years, the coelacanth was believed extinct, until it appeared, swimming calmly, unchanged by time. Nature does not announce survival, it hides it. Megalodon represents the uncomfortable truth that extinction is sometimes an assumption, not a certainty. Not because Megalodon is still alive, but because we cannot say with absolute confidence that it is not. And that uncertainty is powerful. Because Megalodon forces us to confront a reality we prefer to forget. Humans are not the rulers of Earth. We are visitors. We dominate the surface. We build cities. We control land and air. But beneath the waves, we are fragile. A human without technology survives minutes underwater. A machine survives hours. The ocean survives forever. Megalodon was never evil. It did not hunt out of cruelty. It did not destroy for pleasure. It simply existed as evolution shaped it to exist. Perfectly adapted, perfectly efficient, perfectly indifferent to fear. That is why it terrifies us. Not because it hunted whales, but because, if it returned, it would not notice us at all. We would not be prey. We would be irrelevant. And perhaps that is the deepest fear of all. That the ocean does not care about humanity. That it never did. Even now, somewhere beneath the waves, Megalodon's teeth lie buried in darkness. Silent, unmoving, waiting. Not as proof of survival, but as proof of what once ruled this world. And as long as the ocean remains unexplored, as long as darkness covers most of our planet, Megalodon will never truly disappear. Because the depth does not explain itself. It watches, it remembers, and it keeps its secrets. This is Depth Unknown.